Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. Before you freak out and get mad, I just want to acknowledge that yes, Evelynn was very OP and there are some extremely unhealthy aspects in her kit that I think they still need to fix, and I'm going to be talking about how they took a terrible approach in nerfing Evelynn, the reasons why, and what they can do differently. Patch 9.15 dropped 2 days ago. It was a relatively small patch, and in terms of solo queue, probably the biggest change that happened was the Evelynn nerf itself. At first glance, it seemed super tiny. All it was a 10% cooldown increase on Evelynn's Q, which really seemed like nothing, especially for people who don't play Evelynn. The reason given behind this nerf was that it would slow down her clear speed, especially in the early game. This logic is inherently flawed because it doesn't address what's inherently OP about Evelynn's kit and instead addresses what allows her to build into her strengths. Evelynn isn't universally OP. She's not picked in the pro scene, she's not banned in the pro scene. We can come to the conclusion that Riot didn't nerf her for the pro scene, they nerfed her because of her solo queue unfairness. As somebody who has played an extraordinary amount of Evelynn, I am well familiar with her extremely overpowered aspects, one of them being the fact that she can one-shot tanks. I've been playing 40 minutes into the game, full HP Cho'Gath with an MR item, and I just one-shot him on Evelynn. It's that easy. As long as you land your charm proc, he's done. The biggest reason for this is Riot thought it would be a good idea to give max percent magic shred on an assassin champion, and they also thought it would be a good idea to give max percent health shred on her E, which really doesn't make much sense since that's really only for killing tanks, and they could have easily just done percent missing HP instead of max percent HP. Another huge issue with counterplay and solo queue on Evelynn is with her charm proc. It's way too easy for Evelynn to land her full proc charm, and it's way too hard to escape it. Evelynn can theoretically come from any angle with her charm, so it's important to give players some degree of counterplay whenever Evelynn does close in to land the charm. You could easily adjust this by allowing players to be rewarded rather than punished for dodging her first Q. Evelynn's first Q is the dart. It goes out longer, it does more damage, and it buffs her next 3 attacks. If Evelynn were to miss her first Q, her dart, then she shouldn't be able to proc her W as a charm, and instead it should just be a slow whenever she does proc it with something else. Or they could take it a step further and remove the slow altogether on her charm if she does not proc it all the way. That would be another reasonable option. The third thing that makes Evelynn kind of bonkers OP is how fast she heals when she's on her passive. This isn't very good in the early game since it's not too much of an issue and she doesn't have much AP to get much value out of it, but in the mid and late game, whenever you're fighting her and she's running away with 1 HP, she'll just heal all the way back up to full HP in the matter of seconds and then turn around and kill you. It's kind of crazy to think about that a champion would have a self-healing ability on their passive that would allow them to heal back up to a full HP faster than the fountain can heal you. The final aspect of Evelynn's kit that could be nerfed or tweaked is her ultimate. The hitbox on it is just simply too large. Even if you are behind her about 200-250 units, it will still hit you. So if you flash behind her, more likely than not, it'll still hit you. Out of these 4 concepts that I mentioned, one-shotting tanks, healing on passive, charm procs being too easy, and the ult hitbox, 3 of them can be toned to make Evelynn more difficult to play. That way, casual Evelynn players or just normal low IQ Evelynn abusers won't be able to get much value out of her. It'll also give everyone else more counterplay options and they can feel a lot better about juking her initial Q. By allowing healthy counterplay around Evelynn's aspects that have no counterplay, you'll make the game much better for everybody without hurting the part of Evelynn's kit that is already super shit, which is her pre-6. Before level 6, Evelynn has 0 invisibility, she has 0 gap closer, she can't really gank anyone pre-6 since she has no real gap closer unless it is a dive under turret, which are difficult to orchestrate. It's also very difficult for her to 1v1 virtually any enemy jungler. They can kill her, solo her, push her off of scuttles, anything of that nature. Getting to level 6 on Evelynn is essential and the only way to have a chance at winning on her, and by making that much more difficult by adding an extra 15 to 20 seconds onto her first clear route, not to mention she loses significantly more HP in the jungle early game. It's not giving counterplay to Evelynn, it's just making her harder to play in a very negative way. Those are my thoughts on the matter. In the meantime, I'm just going to be abusing jungle Karthus. He could already clear the jungle faster than Evelynn could before they nerfed Evelynn. Plus, I was already hitting high win rates and high elos with them, so that's what I'll be doing. I'd recommend you Evelynn players to switch over as well. If you are still in low elo, low mid elo, you can still make really good use out of her. Alright guys, I'm going to go take a shower or something. I'll catch you guys next time.
zone.